Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency and Wally Hatchett's Comfort Food and Drinks at 6439 Summer Avenue.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. Golly, it's hard to believe, Ron and Bill, that we've already been through an hour. Fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio programming.
Yes, it is.
As I like to mention, and which even Gary Mason mentioned at the Legends of the Outdoor Hall of Fame, the fastest 90 minutes of outdoor radio programming.
Well, and of course, at the last Legends of the Outdoors, Bill Cooksey, Larry Ray,
yes.
Congratulations on being inducted.
Well, thank you, Ron. And
thanks, Ron.
Had to point Ron out up there because he was taking so many pictures. Even pictures of Ron were in there somehow, the back of his head. But
I've got to get on and check those pictures out.
Yeah, you need to look. There's some good ones of you without we look different when we're dressed up. Okay, so I mean,
no hat on. Yeah, I didn't recognize you.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, let's go. We talking right now with a lady that's been on the show many times. She served distinctively as a refuge manager at the Tennessee Wildlife Federation, Wildlife Resource. Good gracious! Let me try it again. The Tennessee National Wildlife Refuge.
Hey, you got it.
In Springfield, Tennessee, is Joan Howe, Joan, you've been there how long?
I've been here 23 years.
Oh,
wow.
They'll let you go sometime.
Yeah, been here a while.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
seen a few things.
Yes,
so,
you have.
Yeah, always happy to talk about it.
Always good to talk to you, Joan, and I know that's one of the most beautiful places there is up there. But back, as I told Bill and Ron, we've all been on a wood duck banding team, and you think, well, that sounds like fun. In July and August, it can be rather difficult. Okay,
yeah,
I mean,
kind of hot,
kind of little creepy creatures roaring around. But back in July and August of this year, up at the West Tennessee U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service biologist Clayton Farrell and his group did something very unique is a word I never was supposed to use in the newspaper business. I don't understand why. But they did something unique. What happened up there, Joan?
Well, I say he quietly broke a very big record. So Clayton has been, I'll tell you this, Clayton's been a biologist with the Fish and Wildlife Service on this refuge for longer than I've been a ranger.
Oh, my.
So he's been here close to 30 years.
Okay.
And so he has banded a lot of different things, but he runs this wood duck banding station.
Yeah.
And under his direction, it has become the largest wood duck banding station in the nation.
In the nation.
Wow.
So, but this year he sort of outdid himself with a record of how many wood ducks were banded in 1 year. So he actually banded over 1,600 wood ducks in one, 2-month period.
Yes, yeah.
So that's a pretty big record. But actually, he also holds a long-standing record there, I believe, in his career. Not that he's banded every single one of them, but he's been in charge of the banding
crew
how
many.
That has banded over 25,000 wood ducks.
How about that, Cooksey? I mean, is that
that's a lot of ducks. That's
a whole lot of wood ducks.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of wood ducks.
Yes,
yeah,
it is. And so they went into that last day of August. They needed 216 new birds that evening to set the record.
Well, I'd actually like to back up to the second to the last one. That's a story, too. So
okay.
The second to the last one, they did 2 evening bandings to try because he knew he was close to this record.
Okay.
The second to the last one, he's about ready to go down there. So first I need to tell you how you band wood ducks, how you capture wood ducks.
Tell them.
So you actually have on this particular site, it's a trap on the land with water all the way around it.
Yes, it is.
And the ducks are actually baited up to the trap, and there's kind of an inward V with a little split in it.
Yeah.
And the ducks have to go inside the trap to get the ducks.
Yes.
To get the corn.
Yeah.
And anyway, he was getting ready to go down there with a whole crew of people that he had assembled to band all these wood ducks, and he goes down and he watches the last hour just to kind of see what they're doing from a long way distance away with a spotting scope.
Okay.
And so he was watching this, and there wasn't a single duck in the trap.
Oh, my God.
Not a single duck in the trap, and there was a osprey sitting right above in the tree, right above the trap.
Oh, wow.
Now, osprey, of course, don't eat ducks, but ducks don't know that. They think
don't
they're
know
a
that.
hawk that may eat the duck, or an eagle or something.
Yeah.
So they were too nervous to go in the trap, and he waited with bated breath and, sweating it out and all that stuff. Well, like maybe 20 minutes before they were going to go down to the banding site, the osprey finally flew away, and about 2,000 wood ducks in that amount of time flooded into that trap. It was the most amazing sight, he said. It was really, really cool. But on the last night, now when you get to this part of the season, you've done so many bandings, and the ducks are so used to eating that corn that they get caught over and over and over again after they're banded. They get used to it, and so when you get them in there, you got to get all the banded ones out
that you've already banded,
mark it down, and then to get to the new ones. And so the last night, he had to get 216 new ones.
birds. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
He had already got his quota on everything, and so he was just trying to make that 1,600 record. And sure enough, it was the single most largest catch of the night. It was like, I can't remember how many was in there, but it was this huge catch.
1,588.
Yes. So anyway, it was a very large catch, and so out of that he got his exactly 216 birds that he needed.
And
wow.
So thought it was interesting too. We had a 4-H'ers there to help us get this. It was kind of momentous. We had young 4-H'ers.
Yeah.
Young 4-H'ers are a little bit not, well trained in all this stuff, and so quite a few birds got free.
Yes.
as they were gabbling up. So we probably caught more than that, but anyway, he did get the 216 he needed,
and broke the record.
And everybody had a great evening.
And why do we ban these? Bill knows this. I know this. A lot of folks say, because I don't know how many bands you got, Bill. I mean,
I don't know, Larry.
I don't even know.
Sure.
You don't know. You remember your first?
Absolutely.
Yes, I remember my first, and it hangs in a prominent place. And of course, the wood duck.
It's exciting.
The wood duck,
one, isn't it?
I think, is the most. Not all ducks are beautiful, Bill. Come on now, we know that. But the wood duck, to me, is a beautiful bird. I mean,
no doubt about it.
I mean,
absolutely,
it's
no doubt. And it's very special in Tennessee that we get to shoot wood ducks during that September season.
That's exactly right. I think
Exactly.
we're
there
only
aren't many states that get to do that.
us in Kentucky. I think there may be only 2. I don't know.
Florida.
Florida. Okay. All right. There's not many, but so why do we do this then, Joan?
Okay. Well, first off, I need to say that ducks aren't the only thing that we banned. We banned a lot of different birds,
Songbirds,
especially
even.
the migratory birds, because it tells us a lot about their migration patterns, how old they live,
Yes.
Where they go. If you capture them one place and put a band on, and then a hunter harvests them, or a birder sees it in another place and reports that band, then you're going to know where that bird has kind of have gone.
Yes.
So it is a great way, and traditionally a way that we find out a lot of information about these birds. And, one time we had no clue how far a duck traveled or where it went and all that kind of stuff. And so putting bands on birds gives you a lot of information. It takes a generic duck out there, and it turns that duck into an individual, because you're going to put, or a bird, you're going to put a band on its leg, and it's going to stay on the leg of that bird for its entire life, and it'll have a series of letters and numbers
it does. Yeah.
that goes into a single nation database.
Bird banding
so
lab,
everybody that does any bird banding, it goes into Cornell Lab's Lab of Ornithology's database.
Yeah.
And then it turns that bird into an individual bird, so you can track that particular bird. So it's an excellent way to find out. And on this particular refuge, we've been, I think since 1949. We have done all kinds of different birds and waterfowl and raptors. We used to do this with bald eagles.
Yes.
And other hawks. We used to have what was called a map station, which did a bunch of songbirds, which really looked at survival and how productivity of songbirds and what was happening with them, and we've gotten a lot of information about that.
Well,
so it's pretty important to report a band
I think
whenever you find one.
Yes.
And it's a lot of fun too, because you can take your band and report that information to the bird banding lab and get all kinds of information about that particular species. Where was it banded? Where, and how old is it, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, there's a lot of information, and I got to ask you quickly. I know you got a big event coming up in November, but I got to ask you. We only got a couple of minutes here.
Okay.
The water situation at Tennessee Wildlife Refuge. How are we doing
Well,
on
the
water?
water's down to winter pool, but we're used to it being pulled down to winter pool, and for waterfowl and fisheries, the mud flat situation is a pretty important habitat type.
Yes.
And to get vegetation on the mud flat, there's a lot of species that'll feed out on those mud flats, and so having those mud flats exposed are pretty important.
Well, it's a great place to visit, folks, and. Joan, before we let you go, you got a big event coming up in November.
We do. So everybody has their Christmas event. This is our Christmas event. It's called Trim a Tree for Wildlife. We actually have it the weekend after Thanksgiving up here at our visitor center at 1371 Wildlife Drive in Springville, Tennessee.
I love that address. Yeah, Wildlife Drive.
Wildlife Drive.
Yes.
The event is from 9 to 3. It's free to families, and what it is, it's a lot of crafts. So we'll have craft tables everywhere where people can make Christmas ornaments and decorations out of things of nature.
Okay.
There is hot chocolate and tea cakes and a roaring fire outside and s'mores and all that kind of stuff. So it's a really fun family day, very kid-friendly day to come out and be on a beautiful refuge, see all the ducks, and make some things for Christmas and learn how to trim your outdoor tree for wildlife.
It's a wonderful facility, and that's on November the 26th, right,
November
Joan?
the 26th, the weekend after Thanksgiving.
And so
you got all your family in. You're
us,
looking for something free to do. Come on out to the refuge.
Give us that website so we can keep up with everything.
It is www.fws, like Fish and Wildlife Service, .gov/refuge/Tennessee, spelled all the way out.
That's it. Joan Howe, thank you, girl. We appreciate you.
All right, good to talking with you.
Good to have a great day, okay?
All right, you too.
All right. All right. Take a break. Hopefully wrap this baby up. Wood duck banding I'll never forget my first
Very
trip.
interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah. All right, we'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.